Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Not a Sheep podcast. My name is Narwhal. I'm here with my buddy Matt.
What's up?
And we're also joined by Alexis Donn.
Hello. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. This is super cool. Is Alexis Donn, is that just the alias, or do most people call you Alexis?
So almost no one calls me Alexis is like the funny part of it. I do still have a day job for a little bit longer, and they call me Alexis, but it's only music people. Like everyone else calls me Al, and Dawn is my middle name. So that's kind of the funny part. It's like, it is my name, but yeah, I'm going by like 5 different names right now.
Yeah. At your day job, do they call you that because like they know like, oh my God, she's like blowing up right now in music. So is that just part of it?
No, so they actually call me Alexis because they hired an Alex right before. Like just a super random thing there. I was like, oh, I go by Alex. They're like, that's not gonna work. I was like, oh, okay, like that's fine. So like that's the only other place I happen to go by it. Yeah, they know. It's kind of funny. Like my boss follows my Spotify and knows. She's really supportive when I need to like duck out for songwriting camps and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think they know everything I have coming, and so they don't know I'm trying to leave.
Yeah.
But
I feel
it's
that.
a great situation right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So what is your kind of plan? Because I guess, well, first of all, for the people who maybe don't know you, because since you're our first kind of, not our first, but we've had like a folk singer and a producer and like engineer and stuff, but you're our first like EDM singer and songwriter, I guess.
Yeah.
So is that what you would describe yourself as? Like, what exactly do you do?
Yeah, no, that's such a good question. So I just started doing, oh my God, I don't know if you hear my cat hiss at my dogs.
I heard your cat.
Yeah, sorry. He's like a cranky old man.
Oh, you're good.
So I started by, and I still do, like top lining for various electronic artists. That is the main thing that I do. But I am starting my artist like pop career as well. I just came out with my first solo release, Burn You. And so we've got a bunch of exciting things planned there, but the plan has always been kind of to live in both worlds, like pop and EDM. And I mean, they're very complementary is the good part. There are some EDM artists that are, I mean, like a dubstep song might not blend as well in like a pop catalog. Yeah. But the artists I'm working with and have worked with, I'm really excited. I think they'll blend really nice into my pop project that's coming, and we're starting to roll out. But yeah, and what EDM top lining means for people that might not know, it's really as straightforward as a DJ sending you a track and you writing over it. The crazy part, so at the higher levels, like when you start to get to like Alesso and Zed, like you have a bunch of people in a room normally. But pretty much up until then, it's like one writer a lot of the time. So it'll just be me writing the song, recording the vocals, and then I recently started vocal production as well. So not only recording myself, but also going in and processing all the vocals, like mixing them, doing all the effects and the tuning, which has been the most stressful thing to me. I'm like, I can write all day, but like get me in the software, actually like doing all the effects is really interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Matt, you mix and master all your own stuff, and like just from what I've seen from the outside, it looks like a horrifying process to learn.
It's definitely interesting too, like with your own voice, because like you notice things that maybe like an engineer wouldn't notice, or like that can be good or that can be bad. But like, what do you think about like that kind of stuff?
It really stresses me out because because I feel like when you're really close to it, I'm like, I just wrote this. I just recorded it 10, 20 times, one phrase sometimes, you know, like I am hearing it so close that something might sound off to me. And then if I send it to a friend, they're like, no, it's fine. They don't hear anything. So that's, I think, is what's hardest for me, is being too close to it and maybe overcorrecting some things, or like not knowing what to leave as is and what's fine is what I'm struggling with the most, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you said that with kind of the middle tier EDM artists who aren't like the mega superstars, they give you that much creative freedom and like trust to just do whatever you think is best. And like, how closely do you work with the DJ and like the producer, I guess, when creating your vocals?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So it's really case by case. Since I started with my management team almost a year ago, they're the ones that really got me access to like those higher level acts. And so in that case, it's really all business until like something goes through. So you're getting these tracks and you've either heard of the artist or you go and listen to their music if you haven't. So you have an idea of their style and you try to adapt and make something that fits them and you know, like kind of get both. But it's really crazy because you sometimes will put hours in and then because it's just you and you don't know, like it could just be a no. Like just, I mean, that happens most of the time. Like you put in all this time and they're like, that's not going to work. And you had no direction. That's really, really interesting. And I think a really unique barrier to electronic top lining where it's like you're working with this DJ, but it is a cold pitch in some regards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends.
So if they don't like it, then is it like they send it back and you redo it, or is it kind of like, hey, we're not going to go with you, we're going to go with someone else, and then they just kind of move on?
It depends on their mood. It literally depends. It's so wild. Like it really depends. So I had a song that came out on Monster Cat, which is like one of the biggest electronic labels and was so exciting. That was my first release that came out with my team, and they were like, we never get like songs on Monster Cat. I was like, well, I haven't got almost any songs out, so it was awesome. And that one specifically, it was really funny because that artist, like I sent this top line and he actually said like, I don't like at all what you wrote, but I want your voice. And he like gave me the second chance.
Wow.
But like he said it in such a nice way, and it came through his manager. Like, and now we're actually really good friends. We have another song coming out. But so
which song was this?
Oh, sorry, it was called Only You. It was
okay. Yeah. Is that's the one with Dexter? Is that his
name?
Yeah,
Dexter. He's seriously such a sweetheart. He said it in the nicest way. It was like, so the writing was totally off, but your voice is good. We want your voice. And then it became this beautiful thing where all of a sudden it's on Monster Cat and they really supported it. And then it was the home screen song of Rocket League for several months. Yeah. Like it just became this huge thing out of nothing, which was great.
Like I had been following your music since even your song, your really old song I think it's called Beast.
Oh my God.
Is that what it's called?
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah, from like 2017 or something.
Yeah.
Didn't you used to have even more songs up? Did you take some down?
I did. I took them all down. So I even produced one of them, and I can barely produce. It was like, it was just this mad rush to try to get content out and try to see what I could learn. And so what happened, I took all those songs down, and I did a feature for one of my friends, an electronic feature. I was just on the second verse. I only wrote like a couple lines. It was really simple. But then I had people hitting me up like, hey, here's this track. Do you want to write for this? And so I was just like, all of a sudden I was like, okay, I'm going to stick in this electronic vein. It's what's working. I'm liking it. So yeah, I took those other songs down, and who knows if they'll come back in a different form later, but yeah. Yeah.
So that's really interesting. You didn't even have an intention of specifically knowing you wanted to do like the
electronic world.
Yeah, like the electronic world. You just kind of like fell into that in a way.
Yeah, it kind of found me. It was my friend Sarah in college. She was friends with a guy named Joey Warner, who is now like one of my closest like creative partners and friends. And he was like, we're looking for a vocalist for this electronic track. And it did pretty good. Got like 300,000 streams, like nothing crazy, but like definitely a great start. And so it got a couple people, like enough people to look at my name and start sending me stuff. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know this was how this worked. I didn't know it could kind of happen like this. And so it just kept building, and I kept writing like that. Yeah, that's kind of how it found me.
Yeah, that's super awesome. So when you were in college, were you actively pursuing this, or was this kind of like once you graduated, then you really went all in on it, or like put this much time into it?
Yeah, I tried to put time in. College was very interesting because I was running at the University of Notre Dame, so that took up a lot of time. And then I got like incredibly, incredibly ill. Like my nervous system pretty much collapsed in a nutshell. So my body was like,
holy crap. What happened? Like, do you, okay, actually, I'll let you go.
No, it's in a nutshell. Yeah, it's, it's not as rare as I thought when I got it, because more research has been done. But when I was diagnosed. It's called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which is POTS, and everyone was joking like, oh, the girl from Washington has POTS, lol. Like, of course, like I was like, okay, like, but in a nutshell, my nervous system, like broke, so I couldn't like think of any. So it's anything that's automatic in your body, your autonomic nervous system, your breathing, your digestion, your sleep, your temperature. The big thing's your blood pressure. So you always feel like you're gonna pass out, which was wild.
Wow.
Wait,
So-
these things like just stop functioning properly?
Yeah.
Th-
Literally,
wow.
this was like sophomore
Like even your
year.
breathing?
So my
Oh,
breathing
man.
more. So my breathing, that was more. So yeah, the breathing sounds a little bit scarier. It was more. The breathing would be more like all of a sudden my throat would feel like it's closing when it wasn't.
Okay.
So I was like literally in this like fear-ridden state for months because doctors are like, oh,
Yeah.
your tests are normal, and it doesn't show up. It's a really, really interesting syndrome. But luckily, we were able to find like maintenance program that worked. They got me on my feet. Like I literally was in a wheelchair leaving sophomore year. Like I went
Jeez.
dark. Like there was no social media about it. I just was like, I am barely functioning as a human. Like I'm not. It was the wildest time.
Yeah.
And a year and a half later, I was like, I was on the team. The funny part is I came back really fat. So I left sophomore year in a wheelchair, like just not being able to function. I was
Yeah.
able to run a couple miles when I got back in the spring. And it was the most humbling experience showing up to these like ripped, like literally like future Olympians, some of them.
Mhm.
Like some of them
Yeah.
are like pro now, and I'm like 30 pounds heavier than when I got there. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey guys, super humbling. But in a nutshell, I told myself if I could get through this rare thing that no doctor could really give me a cure for, if I could get my life back, I was like, I'm gonna live it how I freaking want to. And that's been music. I just didn't tell anybody. I just kind of sang casually. And so I did what I could with it. In terms of the time I had in college, there wasn't a ton of time. I kind of was like learning guitar and posting stuff on
Yeah.
social media. And then after graduation, I was like, okay, like this is it. All my free time kind of goes to that. And that's what it's been the last, would it be 2.5 years? Yeah.
Wow. That's wild. Okay, wait. I want to talk to you more about your music, but before we like
Yeah,
leave,
sorry to, like,
I
drop
have some
that.
questions still. So,
Yeah.
what type of like rehabilitation kind of program were you, like what ended up working and helping you like get better?
Yeah. So the big issue that happens is like your blood pressure doesn't work. Your blood circulation doesn't work. So it's like all the blood, whenever you're vertical, the whole thing is they say like you're allergic to gravity if you have POTS. Like everything shuts down if you're like upright, and our world is not, you don't function
Right.
if you're not upright. So all the blood rushes from your head to your feet. So the whole thing we figured out, and there was some literature on it. Like I literally was like reading medical journals, like what is going
Like
on?
you were trying to learn as like the doctors were probably trying to learn
we
too.
had some doctors
Dang.
that could give us, and there's like maybe one specialist per state. It's like so underfunded and researched. But what ended up working was I did leg weights, so I was able to get enough strength back in my legs to like start manually pushing blood back up to my head. It's like you literally
Oh.
have to like override your like brokenness. So
Yeah.
it was like the leg
Jeez.
weights, and then I slowly like I was able to like compete again by the end of my senior year, but it started out with me like on a recumbent bike for 30 seconds, and it's like every day you build a little bit. I have a ton of salt because salt increases your blood pressure. Like I actually don't have them on
Oh.
my desk right now, but I'm like popping salt tabs all the time. I'm sure like people like low-key think I'm a druggie. I'm just like literally just having salt all the time.
Just pure salt, like little cubes.
Or is it like a special kind?
Yeah. So it's buffered, which means it like has a small coating, so it doesn't make you like want to puke.
Okay.
Oh, so it doesn't taste as bad?
Well, it's literally salt, but
Oh.
I mean, it does taste bad, but it doesn't make you feel
Yeah.
sick. I mean, you just get used
Yeah.
to it. But yeah, it's like I wake up, like I eat some salt cubes, I go on with my day. Like it's just the life you live. And so we figured out that worked. And then my diet, I like eat this super hippie organic, no gluten, no dairy. I was vegan for a bit, totally
Yeah.
like straight from the earth to my body kind of diet too. So we just like went back to basics on all these things. But yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
And it's crazy.
Is it something that you still like daily have to do certain, I mean, other than the way you eat, do you still have to like do certain exercises and stuff to take care of your body the right way?
Yeah. So I thought it went away was the funny part after college. And then I started to feel bad again. So yeah, I have to run a certain amount. I have to do a certain amount of weights. And I kind of just feel it. I can tell if I get up in the morning, if I'm like, oh, my blood pressure is shit today, or like, and it's the weirdest thing because I feel like everyone in this country is so concerned with like their blood pressure being high, and I'm over here like, can I get all the salt you have? Like I literally am just like trying to like get blood in my head. Yeah, so it's definitely like a maintenance program, I would say. I'm not where I was, but yeah, definitely a maintenance program. Just crazy.
Wow. That's pretty wild that you were in a wheelchair and now are like back to pretty, like, would you say at this point you're back to like 100%?
I would say 95. Like okay. Oh my God, my cat. Can you not, like, literally do not eat the cat. My dog is like trying to eat the cat. So I would say I'm back to 95%. It's like I have a bunch of triggers. Like I can't be in certain like heat too long because it's like anything that could just like lower my blood pressure. So I have like triggers that I'm aware of. But yeah, I mean, you wouldn't know it if you met me unless I'm like kind of having an episode or something. So and like 25% of people that get it are like bedridden. Like that's like the rest of their life. So I'm super lucky that we found something that worked. Yeah, I'm really lucky.
And I can see how, you know, you said that once you graduated, you kind of decided you wanted to do what made you really happy, what you really want to do. Because if 25% of people like can't do what they want to do that have this, it's like you probably feel really fortunate that you can make music at all.
Yeah, 100%. And it was kind of funny. I decided like probably too early on in like my recovery. Like I'm still like barely upright for most hours of the day, but I was like, I'm going to sing. Fun fact, singing makes you lightheaded. And so I like could only sing for like 20 seconds at a time. And I would like sit there and like take a break. So the fact that I can like record for hours, like, yeah, I feel it like totally changed my perspective on, I mean, everything. I don't think I came out of that, like almost nothing was the same, I feel like mentally afterwards. So I'm just super grateful. And yeah, it's just it totally changed my perspective. I was like, I'm just going to focus on joy and like good things. I'm not going to waste my time on anything that doesn't make me happy.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it's so interesting to me that you decided on music, like not that it was late in life, but it was like during college. And I feel like a lot of people who are singers, it's kind of from like middle school or like since they were little, it's like this is their thing.
Right.
So like what kind of, I don't know, what sparked it later for you? Like why in college, and like was it always a thing you wanted to do, or was it just that like in college is when you finally let yourself realize like this is my dream?
Yeah. So yeah, it was really that catalyst of like, now I'm going to do it, but I always knew. So when I was little, I would like do shows with my family, like 5 years old, you know, like that kind of stuff. I like had the radio memorized. Like I literally could tell you any song that was on at a given time. Like I was just so infatuated with it. But I secretly wrote, like I had like 100 songs written by like the time I was, I think like 13.
Wow.
Like on my laptop of like lyrics that like I showed nobody. Like I was just so, it was, I mean, we were a very, as I'm sure you know, John, a very sports focused household, and like you were gonna do sports. And so that was what I knew and what I thought was like really important. And so it just took a back seat over and over again. But I would literally come home and sing. I would come home and write. Like that's just what I always found myself doing. But I just like didn't find that courage to do anything with it. But the cool part is I feel like even though I'm always like so worried I'm so old, my manager has to be like, no, like people are like you see these pop stars kind of breaking at like 27, 28. It's like moving it at like a really healthy trajectory. The industry is.
How old are you? 20? How old are you? 25?
I'm 24, almost 25. Yeah, so of course I'm like super nervous and I feel ancient, but I'm like I'm so old.
I feel like it's because social media, like you see these like pop stars and rap stars that are like 16, like blowing up, but that's not like reality. Like Lizzo's been doing it for
she's 30.
Yeah. So I mean,
love
she's been
Lizzo.
at it forever.
Yeah, it really depends. And one thing too, this is not to say no one's unqualified or anything like that. Like, I'm in no position to say that. But what's interesting too is with a lot of younger, like, big labels want people that are young so that they can essentially give them songs and can manicure them and mold them and make them what they want, what the industry wants, what the like what the market kind of desires. So that's one thing too. And if you look, there's some songs that have like 8 writers on them. Like, there are a lot of hit songs, and I mean, that is how hit songs are written. Like, you get a ton of just badass people in a room together and they make something amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing too I have to remember. It's like, it's okay. Like, if you want to be like you're completely your own entity, like have a little bit more control, usually you see those people who are a little bit older, is my experience. That being said, would I mind being Billie Eilish? No. Like, I would fucking love to be Billie Eilish. Like, so at the same time, like, that would be great. And she also writes with her I mean, she is a huge writer too, so that's different. But yeah, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah. Are you currently like an independent artist? Because I've seen on your Instagram like Paragon Music Group.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? What exactly is that?
So that's my management like company. So
Okay.
Yeah, so I am an independent artist. It's kind of interesting. So you can be like totally independent, like no management, everything grassroots. And I'm an independent artist because I'm not signed to like a major label. I don't have any like contract, like long-term contracts with any specific labels.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have my management team. I have 2 managers, Craig and Natasha. They're wonderful. Yeah, they're just the best. And so that's what I don't explain it. That's what that is. So they handle everything. So yeah, that's just
so you
that's
still so you have 100% creative freedom over anything you make still. I guess that was my question, is like,
oh yeah,
you're still at that point where you can really make whatever you want with whoever you want, which is really cool.
Yeah, so that's what's really fun. I'll like strategize with my team, like, is this a good opportunity? Should I be like writing with this person? That kind of stuff. Like bounce ideas off. But if I'm like, hey, I would kill to write with this person or this, like, yeah, it totally. And in terms of creative control, I mean, I was like, I really want to end up like kind of doing pop, and they're like, okay, great, like, let's make that happen. Like, so yeah, they're really like the best partners. So yeah, total creative control. Just a lot of advice.
Yeah.
Which is great,
awesome.
and I need it. So yeah.
Who's your dream collab?
Oh, my dream collab is
there's
no,
there's gotta be one.
no, I like said that because I actually was like talking to someone about it yesterday. Griffin.
Oh, okay.
I think Griffin is the bee's knees.
Oh.
So he's, oh my gosh, I just think he's the
I
best
saw him
thing.
live last year for the first time.
Did
It was
you?
so awesome. Yeah, it was
Where
honestly one
at?
of my favorite concerts ever. At the Showbox in Seattle.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's so fucking good.
Yeah.
He's so
Have you
good.
like artists that are kind of that like A-list EDM artists? Has your name gotten out there? Like, have you kind of contacted people that are like Griffin size or like Odessa type size, or are you still like trying to work your way up to that?
It's kind of interesting. So there are a couple songs coming out that I can't say until contracts are signed. But they've well, actually, no, one of them, yeah, okay, so one of them, the contract has been signed. I don't know if you know who Excision is. He sold out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I have a song coming out with him that'll be on his
Wow.
Let's
album
go.
that's
That's
coming.
awesome.
I'm so excited. It's like one of my favorite songs I ever wrote, and I wrote it with Joey Warner, my Notre Dame collaborator,
That's awesome.
lifetime creative partner, and another friend of ours, John. And so yeah, I'm really excited. I'm also excited to like share the writing credit with them. That's like gonna be, it's just really cool. Yeah, so a song coming out with him, and then I've got a couple others that I can't say yet, but one of them is like, I mean, like one of the like Mac daddies. That's the only word I can come to
Wow.
mind with. Like, that's probably the worst like word to say, but like
No, the
is-
Mac Daddy.
it's like, so like we got one of them, and so when
That's
that
awesome.
when that comes through, I'm gonna be like, knocking on people's doors.
I wanted to know, how does your like creative process differ from like when you're working on your own songs, like the one you just dropped, versus like a big song with one of these big artists?
Yeah. When I'm writing for myself, I'm a lot I'm like a lot harder on myself if I'm writing for myself, because when you don't have another name attached to it, that's a really beautiful part and also a flexible part of writing, of top line for EDM and just writing for other artists in general, is you have an idea of what they like. So I'll kind of have a good idea. Like I can literally listen back to what I wrote for them and then go listen to an album and be like, this could fit. Like this makes sense.
Yeah.
So the creative process there, it's a lot of trying to include things they like, themes that they've touched on before, or things like kind of related. But when I'm writing for myself, it's kind of more stressful. I will say it's definitely more stressful because it's only got my name on it. I want it to be as good as it can be. But you also kind of have this feeling of like you want to prove yourself, that you weren't just writing for other people, or you weren't just this or that. Like you want to create your own style, be your own entity. So it's definitely more stressful, but I've got a couple songs coming out that I'm just really excited about because they're super honest. And that's one thing is electronic, even though it just doesn't normally give you as many details. Like I can literally say something that's so personal in my own writing. So I'm excited to kind of have those songs start coming out like alongside these other collaborations. But yeah, it's interesting. It's higher stress, I will say, ironically, writing for yourself.
Yeah. Well, relating to that, I was wondering, because it seems like you're almost as much of a songwriter as a singer. Would you say you're kind of equally both?
Yeah, this could just be like my unnecessary ego, but I would like to think I'm like more of a writer than a singer, because at the end of the day, I feel like everyone's got a better voice than me, and that's not me being like down on myself. I'm like, no, everyone's just got like a great ass voice these days, and like,
yeah,
and they know how to produce it, and they're like, there are so many good voices. I feel like if I can really nail the writing, and that's what I spend more time focusing on for sure. If I can nail the writing, like I think that'll take me farther. Like my voice, I think is fine. It works. It carries the songs, but
yeah,
I also think I'm pretty self-aware in that I'm not Beyonce. Like I'm not Whitney Houston. So I'm like, girl, you got to write. Like I got to know what to do. So yeah, I've been really focused on kind of like writing different styles for other people lately. Done some songwriting camps. Just trying to like push myself there, because I think that's what's gonna get me to the next level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of songwriting, I was curious, do you ever struggle with writing songs about a certain emotion that maybe you're not like currently feeling? Because I don't know, like you're married, right?
Yeah.
So like I've just always wondered, when someone's like married, for example, if you write like a breakup song or like something that like maybe you haven't experienced in like a long time, or a feeling that you're not really even having, but you have to like curate this song. Not that it's like not authentic, because it's something everyone's experienced at some point, but like, do you feel this, like, is it easier for you to write if it's something you're going through right now, or do you have that sort of creativity that you can just write about anything?
Yeah. So I think the answer probably be like, it's so different for everyone. But people kind of have a preference, I've noticed, on like what they want to write about. I love writing breakup songs that aren't about people. So all of my songs that either are out or coming out that sound like these breakup songs, like they're not about anyone specific, but they're written to something. So like whoever I'm singing to, it might be POTS. Like it could literally be my body. Like I'm pissed at my body for not working. It could be dear Lord, my animals are the worst. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
Home studio perks. It could be about like pressure I'm feeling, or like it kind of, that's like my favorite thing, because a breakup song everyone can relate to, but for me to make it really personal, it's gotta be about, it could be about a friendship. So it's not usually, but if you throw in a couple lines that sound like slightly sexual, you're like, oh, this must have been a relationship.
Yeah.
So you have that. But I think So there's one song I wrote recently that I wrote exactly about how I was feeling in the moment, and I think it is like the best song I've ever written. That's the first time I've done that though. I usually have to like get distance from something to begin writing about it. And I think that's just maybe a personal defect, but that's kind of how I do it. I need space from something to kind of look back and like really capture that feeling after I processed it. Yeah, I think everybody's kind of got their niche, and I didn't expect it, but mine is like sad, gritty breakup shit, and I'm like super happy.
But it
married.
also slaps because it's EDM, so it's like I'm not gonna get depressed listening to it.
I know you like that's the great part about EDM. You can write like really, yeah, and that's the funny part. I feel like everyone or people that like come to my page from my music or already know me are like, why is she coming out with these breakup songs? Like, are they okay? I'm like, we're like happy as can be. I just like love like that kind of, I love that outlet for like frustrated like angry emotions.
Yeah, definitely. Well, because I know sometimes Matt will text me and be like, yo, like I just wrote my best song in like 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. But then other times you'll write a song for like months at a time.
Yeah, like it totally depends on like, because sometimes you'll be really into like whatever the topic is and you can knock it out super quick because it's like pure like emotion going into it. But then sometimes they can take like weeks of writing. Totally.
No, I'm with you on that. And I feel like I used to force myself to write something in one sitting. I was like, I need to get this done now. It needs to be done now or it's not going to happen. And now I've kind of gotten better, like letting projects go if they don't finish themselves right away, or if I like come back to it later, I'm not feeling it. But yeah, I think I'm kind of with you. I think the best songs, personally, I think you are in the heat of the moment and they usually take about an hour. Like, yeah. Like they just like, so the one song I wrote recently that I'm so excited for, it literally was like, I wrote an hour and this, like, I did not want to write the song. I'm not even kidding. Like I kind of had some lyrics. I was in a horrible mood. I wrote down some more lyrics, wrote down some more. All of a sudden I had pages, and I like also never write physically. My phone was dead, but I was like, I need to write this down. And I was like, I'm just going to go to my computer, see if I can find like a piano loop that fits it. And then it was done. It was literally just done. I didn't want to write it. But like songs, I feel like your best songs will like, they're going to be created even if you don't want them to. Sometimes.
It just happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Your song that just came out like last week or a couple weeks ago, Burn You, that's what it's called, right?
I think 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay, 2 weeks ago. That's your first solo release, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I saw on your Spotify page. You're like, my first like solo song.
I know, and I think people probably are like, do you not have other songs? I'm like, no, I don't. Yeah.
But like, no, it's cool. And I was just wondering, is your kind of long-term goal, like, do you want to develop yourself as kind of like Alexis Donn, the artist who like you're your own thing, or do you want to continue to do both where you have your solo music and you're also can top line for like a bunch of EDM artists?
Yeah, I think I definitely see myself doing both for a long time. I think the goal eventually is to just do like my pop project, like have that be the main focus, but in the same way that like Dua Lipa will hop on all sorts of like awesome producers tracks and work with various DJs. Like I definitely like never want to cut that out of my catalog. Especially because I just have like such a respect for it too, after being involved, like the work that goes in. These people are not only DJs, like they put their sets together. They don't have any help doing that, but like they are some of like the baddest producers in the game. They're just so talented. So yeah, I don't see EDM ever going away. Like just maybe becoming a smaller part of my catalog, or discography. Yeah. Am I even using the right words? Help. But yeah, I think the goal is definitely to end up doing the pop project and then write for other artists more too. Cause I love writing for other artists. I just like writing is the part of the process I love the most. Yeah. So eventually once other people want me to start writing for them more, like that'll be great too. But yeah.
So you do want to drop, or are you planning to at some point release a full album?
I sure hope so.
That would be so cool.
I literally think about it every day. I'm like, all I want is just people to have like 0.00001% of the excitement that everyone had when Ariana Grande just dropped her album. Like her, or like BTS. Like those fan groups are so hysteric. Like they're just, it's hysteria. It's constant hysteria. Like I love it so much. So my dream is like to have people excited for me to drop an album.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it'll just be a lot of singles, most likely leading up to an EP. But yeah, I mean, it's just a momentum game. So it's really hard. Like, I would love to drop an album tomorrow, but it's like we're just going to keep building until like the time is right. But yeah, for sure.
I mean, you have a lot of momentum right now, which has been awesome to see the last few months. Like, what's it been like for you just over the last, like, I don't know, 9 months or whatever? Because you really, like, I swear just a few months ago you had like 100,000 and now you have like 320,000 monthly listeners or something. Like, how did that happen?
It's been a really horrible on one hand, but also awesome year, like music wise. So what happened is we got that Monster Cat release. It hit the home screen of Rocket League, and then people are like, what? Who is she? Like, she has done nothing. And I was like, hello, everyone.
This is me.
I just got here. Thanks for having me. And then honestly, it was crazy. So some of those big songs I was telling you about, like in February and January, like we got 4 of them. And my team was like, and I had just started with my team in November. They were like, what the fuck? Like, they were like, we didn't even know you. But they're like, this is actually crazy. I don't even know what's going on because I've never done this, let alone worked with like big acts.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get like small DJs to respond to any of my shit on Instagram. I'm like, that's literally where I was at.
Yeah.
And then I did a song with an artist called Wave and it came out on Suave Records, which is this really awesome Dutch label. They just have like hella European ties. Like all the playlists, all the momentum, like that's where it's at. And I didn't even realize it was coming out on that label till like a few weeks before. And then they just asked me to do a ton of tracks. It was really cool. They were like, hey, can you do this? Can you do this? We want you to be on this. And so I just had releases every month. Like, and I've got a bunch more lined up, but it was really great. So between my team being awesome and Suave Records being like, we want you on 10 songs. And I was like, okay, no problem. It really just gave us a shit ton of momentum. And kept all that building and growing. But it's kind of funny, like my followers on Instagram definitely, or on Spotify, don't match the monthly listeners yet because it all happened with like almost too fast. My team was like, we can't go faster. Like
You mean like you don't have enough followers on Spotify to equate to the monthly listeners, or the other way around?
Yeah, so kind of you see like a lot of people, because it's more usually like this gradual build. So it's like they're like the followers definitely increase and everything, but I had like none to begin with. So I don't know, I'm like kind of lopsided. I feel like in one way I'm like trying to act like, oh, I'm like this seasoned artist now. Like I've done this well-ish for a year. And people can easily see like, well, she's still new. Like, what is happening here? But yeah, no, it's been crazy. I know I'm really hoping we hit a 500,000 mark. We've got a few more songs and possibly remix packs coming out this year. But we'll see.
In like hip hop, it's a big thing. Like people are always talking about with underground artists to be like dropping music consistently, like every month, like as much as you can. How important for you has it been to like have these consistent releases over the last year?
It has literally been everything. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like consistency is the name of the game. And it's like, in order to be consistent too, the good part is my anxiety like has me doing songs constantly. I'm like, you need to be doing music all the time, or like it's not gonna happen, bish. Like you need to like get it together. So that's literally,
I mean, not with music, just with life.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, what? I'm like, are you relaxing? How long? Like, do we have a time limit on this? Like, it's, yeah. Yeah,
it's like someone else is out there not relaxing right now, you lazy bitch. And I'm like, oh, shit.
I'm like, at what level? I'm like, how do I do this? But yeah, so that being said, that anxiety I think has been helpful because you have to have like, especially with producers, they have their own timelines to get consistent releases. I mean, I probably write and record like 15 songs a month, like, and one's coming out a month. And so it's like that, you just have to have like that level of like quantity, or maybe I'd say maybe more like 10. Like there's some, I'll like write still more, but anyway, yeah, like probably like 10. And that's, you need to do that many and like build up that many. So, oh, this one can now go this month. This person just happened to get done with the track. We're going to do it this month. But yeah, consistency is everything because it keeps people interested. Like, yeah, I'm a smaller artist. I'm like still trying to build. So, but if I have a lot of stuff, like your big favorite artist hasn't come out with shit in 6 months, but like here I am. So,
right.
Yeah, it's literally just trying to like slowly get more of that like spotlight. It's crazy.
Yeah. Now, I might be totally wrong about this like assumption entirely. So tell me if this isn't true. But like, I have this idea that with EDM artists, they're kind of more mysterious in terms of like their public persona. I seem like I don't really know them as much as I feel like I know like hip hop artists or just like
any other
pop singers, I guess, that I follow. But I don't know, just because when I think of like Illenium or Odessa or Griffin, who I all love, like I don't really know anything about them. And maybe if I was like a stan, I would. But do you feel that way? Like, because it seems like I've noticed you're really active on Instagram and on, TikTok and Instagram Reels and everything.
Oh my God,
so
my TikTok game, lol.
I see you like putting in some effort and you clearly have this like a personality. Do you feel like,
Thanks.
First of all, do you feel like that's true that EDM artists are mysterious? And do you like, are you trying to like make your fans have this like personal connection with you?
Yeah, so I would say yes to both. Yeah, my TikTok game, my team is like, keep going. I'm like, nothing's gonna go viral. Like, I'm like, I don't know. I know that would solve all our problems, but like, so we're just waiting for the one. They're waiting for me to go viral.
The one that'll pop up.
That's our game plan. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so yeah, they're definitely mysterious. And I don't know entirely what the reason is for that. There's a lot of like symbols. I mean, if you think about like Illenium's, was it his Millennium Falcon? I'm like, is that the reason? I'm like just clicking right now. But the bird, you know, Excision with the dinosaur. Yeah, there's all these woolly mammoth. That one's probably my favorite. It's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it developed that way. I feel like probably maybe this makes sense. I'm coming full circle.
Okay.
So DJs, I mean, you start like DJing whatever, and you're using other people's songs. Like you're from the get-go, you're kind of borrowing from other people, but you slowly step in the spotlight when you're this like building like DJ.
Yeah.
So you're not singing your own songs, but like it takes a while for people to see your face. Like I think that sounds so weird, but like I think until you're like really big, if you're Marshmallow, like no one even sees your face.
Yeah.
So like it takes a while for people to recognize the face, but I think that might be why there's the symbol, because they might be everywhere. Like a pop star, they're so associated with their face, and the's this dancing and all this. Like a DJ is working his ass off. Like he has other things to do. He's not dancing. He's doing everything. And I think that's my best guess. I think the symbol, it just helps tie their brand together. But I don't know. I also do kind of like that it's this mysterious thing. I don't know. I actually really like that, but they definitely are more mysterious. They kind of leave you guessing. And I think that's what pulls people in, especially in that specific genre. But yeah, with me, I'm just not good at like the whole artist thing. Like I'm just like not this like cool collected person where I'm like, can take I don't know what fashion looks good. Like some people just have it all together and they're like, I'm gonna wear this and brands are gonna flock. And I can just like have no caption. Like that's, I don't know. I just don't connect with that. So yeah, all my stuff is like really goofy, really dumb, just like really real. And even my team's been like, it's different, but like people are vibing with it. Like people like that it's just honest. And my stories, I'm like not in makeup probably 90% of the time. Yeah, so we're just going for this like real person vibe. So definitely different than these like big electronic acts, but I don't know, I also would kind of love to just have this sick symbol and be this mysterious person. Like that sounds cool too, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's cool, at least for me. Like when I see your stories and stuff, it seems cool because it's like, oh, this is like a real person that like has interests and like does things, and they aren't just this robot that sits in the dark producing or like singing,
and, like only posts pictures in the studio kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. So for me, I thought it's really cool and just seems a little different. I don't know. I thought it was different than like other people that I follow. But
No, I appreciate that.
so I wanted to go back to something you were saying at the like really early on in the episode. You were talking about how like your managers will connect with like other artist managers and they'll send you a beat and then you'll do the vocals or whatever, but you don't really communicate directly with the artist often. Like why exactly? I mean, I'm sure there's reasonings, but like, don't you think these artists would want to connect with you more? Or do you feel like you wish you could kind of talk to these artists personally and work with them? Or is that just not the way the industry works at your level? Like, is it always through just managers and stuff?
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of interesting, especially when I'm newer. Like maybe I could probably hop in a studio now with like some of the people I've worked with. But definitely in the beginning, it's super common to just be setting people up like that. It's my perception, I could be wrong, but it's my perception that happens to even like the highest levels of like any genre, you know, like half the time you are cold calling like, oh, I really want to work with this person, I want to work with this person, or the label is like, this would be a hit, you know.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a lot of things that get orchestrated. But yeah, with my team, there is, just because it keeps it really professional at first, especially as we're like building my reputation, it's like, especially in the beginning was the thing. Like when I got all these cuts in the beginning, and I had like one decent song out, they like, that really helps. Now I can kind of start reaching out a little bit more on my own, with it like not looking, I don't want to say looking as bad, but like image is everything. You have to be really careful how you're communicating all of that. And my team, they're absolute pros, so they know what to say, what not to say, and I don't know all of that yet. But yeah, it was kind of cool. So when the Excision song, when we found out that was gonna be on his album earlier in the year when people could still go outside, we actually went, so he sold out the Tacoma Dome 2 nights back to back, and we went both nights, and we actually got to meet him, and that was like so 0 to 60, because it was like, I am recording in this corner of a 500 square foot apartment. Like that was like literally my reality. And then we go to the show. He was the coolest guy, like literally the world's nicest human. Him and Grant hit it off. Like it was just super cool to meet him. And that was awesome, because it's really nice putting a face to a name. And so that's what I'm definitely missing out on right now with COVID. Virtual sessions have been really nice, but it's cool as I go along. Like you become friends kind of after, once you know that you like vibe stylistically, then you're like, okay, like maybe let's talk some more.
That's so just, it's always been weird to me, because the more artists we've interviewed, I guess like bigger artists we've interviewed, a lot of times they're like, oh yeah, I had a song with this guy, but like I never really even talked to him. And it just blew my mind, because I feel like as a listener, you just assume that
everyone's friends,
that everyone's like best friends if they're featuring in someone's song, but that's not the case all the time.
No, it's so interesting. And that's one thing too that I actually really appreciate. I feel like I just have such curiosity for like, how are these deals actually coming together? How do these songs come together? So it's really cool to be a part of it, even just at like a lower level, where I'm starting to see what goes on behind closed doors. And it's fascinating. Like I will say though, the really cool part is creativity like always wins. Like no matter if you're a tiny ass artist, if you're a bit, like no matter what, if you just have something good, people are going to listen, you know, like people will want to work with you. And it's really interesting. Like there's so much business and so much more than you think, especially because it's a creative industry. But no matter what, like good creativity wins, which is really hopeful to me. Yeah.
And I think we've seen that through TikTok, especially like I don't know if you know Trevor Daniel, but he was like nobody, like no one really knew who he was, but he had a really amazing song that I don't know how many listeners he had before TikTok, maybe like 40, 50,000 or something. But then the song Falling just blew up on TikTok, and now he has like 10 million monthly listeners. He's like
I was saying he did the collab
now
with Selena Gomez, right? Past life?
He's an icon now, and it all happened in like less than a year because he just had an amazing song.
That's crazy.
And so I don't know, that's super cool.
It's so cool when that happens. Like that's the thing, is there's so many things that like so much strategy and like business steps that go into like breaking someone. When something happens organically, like that is the shit to pay attention to, because you're like, they just did it, they broke all rule, like they just had an instinct. It's so cool when that happens.
Yeah. When you write, do you ever write with the intention of like trying to go viral on TikTok or something? Like, oh, this, if I write it this way, this could be a hit for like the 1 minute TikToks or whatever? Or do you just try and make a good song and like use it wherever it fits?
Yeah, I think what I've done recently is just kind of write a song that I really like and then showcase it on TikTok and see how it goes. So I think I definitely could. I think I should make it more TikTok centric, or like with TikTok in mind. And that's one thing I've been trying to like think about. But yeah, so far it has just been like, I kind of want to see organically like what does well and what doesn't, like what people respond to. And that's what's cool about it too, is like it's just a really great platform to see what really connects with people. So I don't know, TikTok's cool.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of your direction that you're going in right now, like you obviously mentioned you want to come out with an EP or a project at some point. But what is like the ultimate biggest possible dream for you? Like if you could do anything and like just snap your fingers and you're just doing it, what does your life look like?
So, I mean, a Grammy's great. Like I'm not going to turn down a Grammy. No, but like literally, I think that's too why my anxiety is like always so high, is I'm like, I really want to make up for lost time. Like all this time I spent as a kid wanting to do this but not doing it, I'm like, I want to make that up in like twice the speed now. Yeah. I'm committed, I'm like ready to do this. So my aspirations are literally like at the highest level. I think one thing though that I've like always secretly thought about and have only said out loud like a few times, my like dream, because with running, like of course my like secret goal, my pipe dream was like to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
I like would love to perform there, so I could like in my heart be like, I made it, like not in a but like in a different way. So
that's so epic.
That'd be so
that's
cool.
like, I'm not gonna lie, like that I think to me sits higher than a Grammy. Like wow. That's just like like the personal meaning that would be, because in my mind I was like, if I run this and like I'm on track to like do this or that, like that would just be so crazy cool to me.
Yeah. Well, the Olympics that were supposed to happen this year obviously weren't in the US, but aren't the next one like, well, the one that was supposed to happen is postponed till next year, which I still don't know is going to happen. But isn't the next one after that supposed to be in the US?
Actually, I don't know.
I thought it's
I
like
probably
in
should
LA
know.
Or something. I could be totally
I don't
wrong
know.
about
Oh my
that.
God, wait, no. I think you are.
I think it might be
No,
in
you're
LA,
right.
which so that's like 8 years from now?
Oh my God.
So maybe that's when you're just like a mega, like 100 million monthly listeners, and it's like a no-brainer that they have you perform at the Olympics.
Exactly.
Oh my God. No, that would be like the greatest thing ever. I feel like it would be so, oh yeah, that's like all I want. I'm not gonna lie. Like that would just be so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. No, you're right. They're in LA.
That's so
like
sick.
what a crazy place for them to be. Yeah. No, so that's literally my dream.
Okay. Do you want to go on a nationwide tour, or do you want to like?
Does touring
sound cooler, or are you more into just like festivals here and there?
Oh, I definitely want to tour. No, my parents just got an RV, so we've decided I will take that over at some point.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully, manifesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I totally would. And the funny part is, no, Grant and I have talked about that. He's like, how, and in some regards too, I'm like thinking a mile a minute. I was going to say, like, on one hand, you want things to happen really fast, right? Like, you want to, like, blow up out of nowhere and, like, be touring and all this.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Grant is like, we need to, like, try to plan if that happens. Like, we're, like, such planners. He's like, we can't just leave on a dime.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be me, Grant, and our 2 animals. I'm like, that's a good point. Like, we need to, like, have a plan. So right now, it's on me to try to become an artist that people want to see live. So there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
And then we're going to hop in my parents' RV and just have a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds super awesome.
The goal. Yeah.
That's a good plan.
Cool. Is there an artist that is currently out there right now that when you look at them, whether it be their style or just the way they've gone about their career, that you really admire as like your biggest inspiration?
Yes. So not even growing up have I like ever been this big of a fangirl for somebody, but in the last few years, Dua Lipa is like everything. So I like hopped on the Dua Lipa train like right as like New Rules was blowing up. I was like, what the hell? Like this girl has a crazy voice.
Mhm.
She's just was blowing up. We saw her live for $35.
Wow.
Like 2.5 years ago, I was like, Grant, this is the only time she's gonna be $35.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad we went. So she's amazing. I mean, she's a genius too, coming out with this whole disco album. She's got this like incredible live show that she's doing in a couple weeks. Like I think she's just brilliant. But I think the big thing too is she worked her ass off. So she got signed to Warner, I think at like 17, 18.
Wow.
And once her album came out, I think she was 2021, she had to like wait a while. There are all these holdups. Is what happens, especially if you're a smaller artist at a label, like if you're newly signed. It finally dropped. It blows the fuck up. But it actually blew up in like her second year of touring, or maybe her third year. So she toured for 2.5 years straight, which is like totally uncommon.
Wow.
That's crazy.
She did. I don't know if you knew that. So she
I
did,
had no idea. 2.5 years on the road.
I thought like a year was a
2.5 years
lot.
on the road. No, it is.
And
But
she's
she
like,
was like,
she was what, like 18?
I think she was in early 20s.
Oh, okay.
I think she was like 20, 21.
Okay.
So she literally toured. So she has a tattoo that says 249. She played 249 shows.
Oh my god.
And it started, the
Ridiculous.
craziest part is it started out like not small. I'm trying to think of like what a good comparison, like maybe like Numos. Not that Numos is small, you know, but like that size and like different.
It's not
British
huge.
cities.
That's for sure.
Yeah, right. It's like I feel like it still is more intimate, even for like the big artists they get.
Yeah.
So kind of a relatively smaller size venues to literally arenas, because she was her New Rules blew up like halfway through her tour. So she was like, we're just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Like she literally toured for 2.5 fucking years. Like I respect the hell out of her. She's like, we're gonna run this thing as far as it goes.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna come out with the best sophomore album of, I think, almost any pop artist ever. Like I think she's just next level. And if you watch, like her trajectory was really fast because she just worked her ass off.
Yeah.
And so that like gives me a lot of hope. I really love to see artists that are like, no, it pays off. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, so I love her. I'm
Yeah.
such a fangirl for her.
That's awesome.
That's so cool.
Well, so often you see someone blow up, and if you haven't been following them, you think that it's like, oh, this guy just like
Out of
put
nowhere.
out one song just out of nowhere, they just blow up. But it's like
Totally.
almost always they've been at it for years and
Years,
you
yeah.
just haven't done your research or whatever.
Totally. They say it's normally like 7 is like the quickest it goes on average.
Seven.
It's
Wait,
like
what do you
7
mean?
years.
Oh, 7 years.
Oh, sorry, like 7 years to like break. I think Dua Lipa did it in like 4.5.
Yeah.
Dang.
Wow.
Like fucking superstar. But
And how many years in are you in terms of like taking it seriously, would you say?
We're 2.5, guys.
Okay, so you got time.
But that's good
We
progress.
have a while to go. I know. I'm just like, if I would love to be. I feel like ideally, if we keep at this, when we keep at this, and if I were to break, we're looking at like a Maren Morris or like Lizzo timeline, probably like 28, 29.
Okay.
So part of me is like, I have to make peace with the fact that I'm going to be 10 years older than like the newest thing that just comes along. Like if and when I do break, you know?
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But yeah, there are a lot of older people. I mean, Ava Max, I think, is 28. She just had her first album and she's killing it. So
I don't know who that is. Is she like a EDM type singer as well, or no?
She's done some collaborations for sure. But she is, I'm forgetting what label she's with. She's she's just she's like bringing back like traditional pop. She's kind of like a toned down Lady Gaga.
Okay.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's Bulgarian. She's got this like crazy like almost like Cher-ish part of her voice.
Okay.
It's like really, it's something else.
Wow. I'll have to look her up. Ava Mack, you said?
Oh, Ava Max.
Oh,
Yeah.
Max. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
She's awesome.
Is there anything, that one song that you didn't really talk a whole lot about, but the one that you were at least allowed to mention that is coming out, when
The Mac Daddy.
yeah, well, Yeah, I guess that one. Or I don't know. When is the next song coming out for you? Do you have a date?
Yeah. Wait, I'm looking at my board. Okay. The next one. So there's an album cut for Unknown Brain, who's this big like German duo.
Okay.
So I have an album cut coming out with them the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So that's the next one. And then I think we might do another original in December. We're going to make that decision soon.
Okay.
Or there's going to be a remix pack for one of my songs coming out in December. We're like kind of deciding between a couple things. Got a lot of like coals in the fire. And then those bigger ones that'll be dropping, those bigger collaborations, will be dropping early to mid next year. The hard part is it depends on their tours. So these artists are like touring all the time. And so they don't want to drop like their hot new stuff until they're on the road again.
Yeah.
So COVID. Oh, COVID.
Yeah, I know.
COVID.
Dang, so that could potentially keep getting pushed back until whenever they go on tour again.
Dang.
So
That's
like,
gotta be
most
so
of those
frustrating for
collaborations-
you when you have just an absolute banger and you can't let the world hear it.
I'm like, I know, I am bummed. And the funny part is like, this year would have been even wilder if those things dropped when they were gonna drop like this fall. I'm like, that would have actually been so dope to like have it all hit at once and be like this great storm of events. But yeah, so it could keep getting pushed out. But I'm also a big believer in like everything happens for a reason. I'm assuming the timing of it is gonna be even better than it could have been. So we'll see. But yeah, I know I would love those songs to come out.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're excited for that. Thank you again for letting us talk
thank
to
you.
This has been super cool. And you're by far the most like popular artist we've got the chance to talk to yet. So
Oh my gosh, thanks. I don't think that's ever been a word that's described me. Thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah. And it's just been cool because like for the listeners who don't know, like you and I went to the same high school. We didn't really know each other in high school, but like it's just been cool because I've been like following your journey since like, I don't know, 2016, 2017, whenever you first started releasing stuff. And so it's just been really cool to see like
a hometown person
person blow up all of a sudden. So
thank you so much. No, that actually means the world to me because not gonna lie, like sitting in your home studio all the time, you're like, is anything happening? Like I see these numbers going up. I'm getting more messages from people I don't know, stuff like that. That's like super cool. But yeah, no, that's just really cool to hear because I literally in my mind I'm like, is anyone listening? Like I'm like, I see these monthly listeners, but like, are they really listening? Like you just never know. I don't know how to say that. Like you kind of just doubt yourself a lot. So that's really, really kind. I appreciate that.
Well, especially if you're not able to go perform anywhere, like
and,
your
see people,
like your numbers are going up a bunch, but you're seeing like your life is still the same in a way. So
literally the same, yeah.
So it's probably weird, like it'll probably be cool for you when you get to go to like whenever you get to perform next, and there's just like a bunch of people that like are diehard fans and stuff. Wait, also,
that would be so
are your fans gonna call you Alexis Donn? Like, or have you made it like known that other people in your life don't call you that?
Yeah, no, like I haven't made it clear. That's the funny part. It's like literally no one. So that's the kind of great part is I never went by Alexis. So I was like, well, this is like a perfect automatic stage name. It'll be a smooth transition. It's on my birth certificate. Yeah, I mean, I think they will just call me that. And I think it's nice because it's still personal because it's my name, but it also gives me that, like, I now think of Alexis Donn as like this other
alter
thing.
ego kind of. Yeah.
But I'm like Al or Alex, like that's how people address me otherwise. So, I don't know. Yeah, it'll be cool. I mean, for anyone that wants to call me Alexis Donn and wants to listen to my music, like they're so welcome to do that. That's great. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much. This was super fun. Where can the listeners of the show, not that there's a whole lot right now, but
there will be.
There will be.
Baby steps.
Yeah. Where can they follow you and listen to your music? Like, where can they find everything?
Yeah. So, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube. We're everywhere. Alexis Donn with 2 N's. That trips up a lot of people. And then on all social platforms, Alexis Donn Music.
Awesome. Matt, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at the Matt Mogg, MattMoggg.
Yep, you guys can follow me at Hey Narwhal on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Go stream Alexis's new song, Burn You. And hopefully we can have you on again soon. Maybe in like a year from now or something. If there's an EP out or something, we could talk to you again. I don't know. We'll see.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
I love it.
But guys, there's new episodes every single Monday, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.